Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. So I'm back here again for another review. This is a long overdue review, and actually this finishes out all the movies I wanted to try to check out before 2016, my top 10 list, which I will be doing today, in addition to Oscar coverage. But maybe I might have saved the best for last. Maybe Mel Gibson is back in another film called Hacksaw Ridge, starring Andrew Garfield, Hugo Weaving, Vince Vaughn, Teresa Palmer, Luke Bracey, and it was amazing. This might be one of the best directed showcases of war that I've ever seen, because it's not just that they took the psychological impact of what war does to people in Hugo Weaving's amazing performance as Desmond Doss's dad, who went through World War One and he had most of his platoon wiped out, and he was just messed up, alcoholic, abuses to his family, and just really turned both of his sons, against each other in a lot of different ways on a subconscious mental level. And it just showed, how much PTSD and the psychological warfare that war actually has. But the imagery and the visual effects for this movie, oh my gosh, bro, like there were, limbs, and it was weird because, when I went and looked at The Passion of the Christ, that was by far one of the best films that, Mel Gibson ever directed. One of the most impactful ones for me. Like, it was hard for me to watch that film, after a week. Then I had to go back and look at it a couple other times, but like it just emotionally tore me down, and it was so hard to watch the torture. But it was like, for this film, it wasn't that. It wasn't like I was sitting there looking away or I couldn't stand it. It was like, this is how it is. This is the reality of what, warfare looked like, specifically World War II, Japanese versus American, and just everything that it took for people to survive in every level possible. And I think that from the prosthetics, the visual effects, and just the way that he directed this on the style, and like, it's kind of like, I feel like this is what Pearl Harbor should have been. I know that sounds really weird, but when I remember Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck, the other people, I think Josh Hartnett, it just came and lost itself in this dramatic romanticism, and it lost the appeal of what it should have resonated towards the end. Where this one, it had a lot of heart, it had a lot of soul, it had a lot of, love to it. Specifically the first few acts with, Teresa Palmer and Andrew Garfield's chemistry and their love for each other. It was just so good. But then even with, Andrew Garfield's relationship with his parents, how he was so respectful, but yet like he knew, he made a choice long ago, who he wanted to be, what he could not be, and what he could not do. And a lot of it had to do with, this one interaction that happened with his brother that he almost, caused his brother's life, and he almost killed his brother. And it just transformed him inside. And he resonated with looking at, this one mural that showed like "Thou shalt not kill" and what that represented for him, and from his own ideals and what he believed in, he stuck to that, and it changed his life forever. But at the same time, he wanted to serve his country, he wanted to give his life for his country, and that was amazing because what he had to go through once he went to boot camp, and all the trials he kind of went through, it was just like, they could have ended the movie there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from what he believed in and what he wanted to do and being a medic and going through it, they could have just kind of ended it there. But no, they showed, a story about something that's true life that I didn't realize, of Desmond Doss, in the lives that he saved without carrying a gun. That concept just is in and of itself is a miracle that he would even survive, let alone save as many people as he did. And just watching that warfare after the fact, after everything that kind of happened, I was just like, wow. The other thing about this, Luke Braley and Teresa Palmer, they have been in movies I really just didn't like. They were kind of like B-list kind of actors in a lot of different ways. I think that Teresa Palmer and Warm Bodies, I liked her a lot in that. But both of them, it was like, I think... I think Luke was in that Point Break movie, and I was just like, but for this, they embodied these characters well. They had a lot of heart, they had a lot of soul. I cared about their characters, and I cared about even Sam Worthington and Vince Vaughn. They did a really good job on, as Captain Glover, and Vince Vaughn as, the other superior. And like, it was weird because they were transformed from what Desmond's lives were, and even with their acting performance, it catered to that. But it wasn't like everybody overacted. The only person that I could say proved themselves in every regard, like maybe connected to Andrew Garfield, would be Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving's performance, I thought was really great. I think that when they went to the sequence where, you know, he was about to get court-martialed, that sequence, I think that, you know, that was kind of like a under, you know, compared to what he was doing before, and he, especially in the flashbacks. But that was the only time that I felt like he, you know, he wasn't on the top of his game as far as acting. But Andrew Garfield as this character embodied the heart and soul of somebody that believes and will do nothing but what they're supposed to do because they know what kind of person they could have been. Like, I think the thing about it that resonated with me is that Desmond Doss, he didn't see himself as like this saint. He knew what he was capable of. He knew what acts of violence could be. He knew, you know, he made a choice a long time ago as a kid, but he knew there were different accounts of times where, you know, violence and guns and stuff like that, that he knew what kind of person he could be, his soul could end up. And, you know, that's not necessarily for everybody, you know what I'm saying? I'm not preaching to that, you know, because a lot of people, even family members I have that had to serve, you know, in the military and had to deal with certain things and circumstances like that. But I'm saying that he resonated with what he believed in. He knew what he could become otherwise. And he stuck to that. And like the work, oh my gosh, the ending and what he had to do, bro, I ain't never seen nothing like that. And the warfare, as I said, that was what warfare, if I had to imagine it, like uncut and raw and not just explicitly gory just to be explicitly gory, but just real warfare, that is what the perfection of this movie is. And I think if anything, this movie should get, you know, maybe best directing or best picture. But Andrew Garfield's, I don't know. I'm so torn, man. Like, a lot of people don't like him in silence, but he did an amazing job. And he, like, his resonation with his faith and who he was. I think that I see why some people pull more towards this one because the other one's more dramatified. But circumstantially, both of these situations were not anything you can comprehend as a human to go through. You know what I'm saying? And I think that both of these films were amazing. Silence and Hacksaw Ridge. But I definitely give Hacksaw Ridge a 10 out of 10, man. That was amazing. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I did watch it and I did love it. And I thought that Mel Gibson did a great job. And even, you know, with his lifestyle and the things that he's done, things that he's said, some people, like I think my mother has even said, like, they just have a gifting, you know what I'm saying, like, for their craft. And he is an amazing director, like, through and through. And he has a vision and he has, you know, just a talent, man. And I think that Andrew Garfield just nailed it this year. Like, with both of these performances, I don't care what nobody says. He did an amazing job. I need to see 99 Homes. I haven't seen that yet. But anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Y'all have a blessed one. And remember, stay tuned for my coverage for the Oscars tonight, as well as my top 10 list for 2016. Peace.